What is house music? It's a uniquely Chicago genre created by black gay DJs of the 80s that invigorates your body and moves you to the music effortlessly. House music emerged with the death of disco, and disco itself was a dance music revolution coming from the underground gay clubs of New York. It was characterized by bright lights, illicit drugs, sex, and high energy music to dance to all night long. But disco actually started as counterculture and didn't really gain popularity until the late 1970s. And with the movie Saturday Night Fever, it was now considered mainstream, which switched the look of the scene from gay people of color to white heterosexual suburban youth. The disco demolition marked the end of disco. White Sox games were poorly attended, so Steve Dahl was brought in for promotional purposes. The promotion was to pay 98 cents for entry and bring a disco record to destroy. Over 50,000 people attended, rushed the field, rioted, destroying disco records and chanting "Disco sucks." In the following weeks, news and radio proclaimed disco dead, and clubs and artists started to stray away from the genre, and anti-disco sentiment lingered. Although disco was done, people still wanted to dance, so DJs started experimenting with new types of music. Frankie Knuckles, who is a notable DJ and often credited as the godfather of house music, was a DJ in New York who moved to Chicago and began to DJ at The Warehouse, which started out as a low-key, invite-only black gay club, but later expanded to a larger audience. Frankie was one of the DJs that was editing songs, mixing in disco, funk, soul, and gospel, along with synthesizers and drum machines to make this new sound. And this new sound became known as house music, as it was often played at The Warehouse. Frankie Knuckles, Laurie Branch, Ron Hardy, Marshall Jefferson, and many more were the house music DJs of the time. House music actually gained a lot of popularity abroad before it did domestically. Steve Silk Hurley, another early innovator in house music, was topping charts in London while remaining relatively unknown in Chicago. Many of the house music clubs in Chicago were densely located on Michigan Avenue in South Loop, and the famous Warehouse was located within walking distance of the Halsted bus as well as the Quincy train station. And a lot of people enjoyed their house music nightlife via walking or transit. House music really exploded in the 90s and revitalized dance culture worldwide. It started splitting into subgenres like deep house, Latin house, hip house, and many more. And with Madonna's hit Vogue, house was now considered mainstream, signifying a crossover similarly to what occurred with disco for the genre. Although it did peak in the 90s, it never really went away. It just gained more of a regional focus and has always remained a very important part of musical culture here in Chicago. Chicago continues to show love to house music with our annual house music festivals, house bus tours, and a new era of house music DJs. House music has even made its way onto our transit system, with house music performance by Megan McNeil on the Green Line, and house music at the 95th Red Line station's DJ booth. The Rebuild Foundation, a nonprofit in Chicago supporting artists, continues to honor the legacy of Frankie Knuckles and hosts house music sets at the Currency Exchange and Stony Island Arts Bank for all to enjoy. House music will always be a Chicago favorite, passed down from generation to generation, and a staple to Black Chicago culture and a source of pride and joy.